Let's get into game 3. This was the Cheetahs versus the Brumbies. Now, Brayton Paulson tweeted, Goosen slots a drop from 50 meters. Now, Garen, why don't you tell me what he meant by that?
Well, that was, to end the game, it was getting a little bit close at the end, the Brumbies up against the Cheetahs in Bloemfontein, but he put over this fantastic drop goal, which was a bit of a vur-vur, if you like. It was wobbling all over the place, but from his own half to seal the match, to give the Cheetahs that extra comfort point difference, the extra 3 points there. So Goosen, talking about him, he looked much better this week. We've talked in the past about him being very injury prone, having to leave the field after 50 minutes or so, but he saw out the 80 minutes, and luckily for the Cheetahs that he did, because he did add that drop goal. It's one of his specialities, the ability to kick these long distance drop goals. So, again, a great victory for the Cheetahs, as Rob mentioned. That was 3 from 3 from a South African point of view. The best return they've had this entire season came in week 14. It was a long wait. But again, the Brumbies, very disappointing. They were challenging the Sharks and the Chiefs from New Zealand for the conference winners slot, again, looking for a home semi-final. But they were very, very disappointing. In their first match in South Africa, they now head off to Loftus Versfeld to play the Bulls, which will be a titanic battle that takes place on Friday. We'll talk about that later in the week. So, a great result from the Cheetahs. Their defense was certainly better than in previous weeks, where we've had a go at them for leaking tries, as many as they seem to score, but they seem to shore that up. So great news for Narkodrotsky's men.
Rob?
Yeah, I enjoyed this game, Jen. It was not only because it was my inspired pick of the week. I was very nervous about it going into the match.
I remember.
Because a lot of people were rightly, I think, fancying the Brumbies to come and knock over the Cheetahs. But I just fancied that the Cheetahs were going to be up for it. And boy, did they put in a shift. I mean, I thought that their loose trio were absolutely superb. Heinrich Brasseau, again, very much to the fore, Garen. Lots of steals, lots of linking play, lots of very constructive stuff from him. It's going to be interesting to see whether he eventually finds his way back into Springbok favour. Let's not count our chickens before they hatched on that score. But, Boom Prinsloo, also a very good game. Mahoje on the blindside flank also had an excellent game. And as you said, Johan Goosen suddenly looked a lot sort of more like the sort of young wonderkind, if you like, that we sort of came to expect 2 years ago, and who's had his career really sort of put on hold a lot of times by injury. And maybe now just getting a little bit of a chance to get a consistent amount of game time going again. He just looks like a more of a sort of finished article. So the Cheetahs will feel that there's still a real battle on to avoid the wooden spoon in the South African conference. The Lions, of course, are sort of in a bit of free fall.
Yeah.
So both the Cheetahs and Stormers looking as though they're going to sort of rise a little bit from the ashes.